WJG Sports. We journal great.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Just Like Brothers podcast, episode 67 here. Kai Jones, we are live at the WJG Sports Studio, a.k.a. my kitchen, a.k.a. the lab.
I am Lyco Beebe, of course, a.k.a. Striker. I ventured into Goldsboro thinking I had something to do today, and it turns out I did not. So, all was not lost. I got some nice some dip and nachos, and food was great.
Right.
And
shout out my wife.
Yep, absolutely. Shout out to Leah. We really didn't have much to do today, but all is not lost. We got a podcast here.
Right.
We're going off the top. Just like usual, you know.
Right.
Back to the good old times, you know.
Of course, yeah. It's been a while since we've really been by ourselves and just kind of had time just to talk. We haven't really talked about high school sports and what's been going on lately in a while. So let's get down to the nitty gritty here, man. Of course, Wednesday, big decision coming up by Governor Roy Cooper. If schools are open, who knows what sports will do. Schools are not open. Definitely seems like there will be no sports, at least not for the foreseeable future. So, Lyca, man, what's your take right now on where we're at as we stand?
It's just been an absolute whirlwind, dude. I mean, it's obviously it's tough because, of course, there are a lot of students who go to school to play sports too.
Right.
A lot of student athletes out there that put in a lot of time and hard work into preparing for a season that may or may not happen, and it's. Yeah. I'll be honest. I feel like it looks really bleak. I mean, I don't want it to be that way.
Right.
If it were up to me, I would love to have sports. It's just, is there a safe and viable option for it, and are we willing to put in the work to ensure the safety of each and every student athlete in North Carolina? Right. And that's pretty much where I stand on it. What about you?
Well, I sit here in a phase of just wanting to be sure. I would hate for, us to get started in high school sports and have it to be derailed again. Let's say we get 2 or 3 weeks of a football season in. I think that would be awful. But I'm sure some kids would love to get a chance to get some film. Get a chance to go to college, things of that nature. But right now, it's just a very scary time for sports because honestly, how many colleges have folded different athletic programs? How many of those kids who have worked a long time now have their opportunities shortened even less by the colleges having to, go ahead and drop programs. I do think no matter what, though, if Governor Cooper decides to reopen schools, then we need to have sports. That's my personal opinion. Just seeing, being around the community and understanding that there are so many athletes who only show up for school. And, they say all the time in education that sports is one of the biggest preventions of dropouts. And I feel like if you send these kids back to school with no sports, there will be a lot of resentment towards adults, a lot of resentment towards the schools, and ultimately I could see many kids dropping out and not finishing up their senior year or finishing up their junior year because, quite frankly, that's a lot of hope taken out of there. But also too, that goes into the reason I say that as well is if you're asking students to sit in the classroom, 8 hours, 7-8 hours a day, with their classmates, transferring to different hallways, passing by each other, bumping into each other, using the same bathroom, sitting at the same desk, all of this stuff, then how in the world can you expect them to not be upset that the fact that they can't go outside with a controlled group of teammates and play football or play soccer or play volleyball in a gym and then go play, somebody else? I mean, I just don't see how, kids would be. I feel like you'd have a revolt of sorts, not, full on, pirate ship. We're going to steal the ship and, go off on a run or anything like that. But I just don't. I feel like you would have so many kids who, because I remember when softball and baseball, whenever that spring season cut off, all the kids were like, "How are you going to, just leave us sitting here in classes for 7 hours a day inside, but not let us be outside with our teammates and playing the sport that we love?"
I mean, I don't disagree with anything you said.
Right.
It's all right. It's just been, you know what I've been saying the last few weeks, right? It's just felt like a sense of false hope from the beginning, and
Right.
I feel like everything with like workouts being open for some areas and some areas not, and all that, it really just delayed the inevitable. And now here we are at the ultimate crossroads, the decision of all decisions of the entire year, not just school year, but just year.
See, but here's the thing too that could happen that I don't think people have thought about. What if Governor Cooper comes out and says, "Hey, we're going to push school back until December"? I mean, till January.
Like in-person classes?
Yeah, in-person classes back to January, and we'll reevaluate at that time. Could you see the NCHSA saying, "Okay, well, we can still have a basketball season, and then we can transfer into football season, and then we can extend it out towards the summer for baseball and softball season"? I mean, I don't know how likely that is, but I mean, I'd love to see the NCHSA, if there is a chance that kids are going back into school, give a chance for all kids to get their senior years off, or even just their sophomores, juniors, freshmen
just a year
years
of
off.
sports.
Yeah, year of sports off. Like I said, kids need it, and if you give these kids some hope of playing sports, I feel like you'll get a lot better result than if you just cancel it altogether.
Yeah. People have been frustrated with my sense of like not really buying all of this, but like, do you guys see what I mean? It's just, I don't know if there's anything we could do to like have it now, because what have we done to deserve sports? Like we have not followed any guidelines, and I don't mean just me. I mean like in general. Like
right.
the country has not followed guidelines.
I mean, heck, we're not wearing masks right now, so
exactly, we're not either. I mean, we can't really talk. I mean,
but the one thing I will say, maybe, could there possibly be a chance of maybe having non-contact sports in the fall?
So like your tennises and your golfs and
your tennises, your golf, your track and field. Could you find a way to do those?
I think volleyball can get off. Well, but the ball also
ball, versus a racket.
Yeah,
different
in a golf club. Yeah, that makes sense.
Each player has to use one tennis ball to serve instead of being able to use the same exact one. I think you could maybe, but like I said, we don't know exactly what's on the table for what the NCHSA could possibly do.
But there are 3 plans, correct? Was it Plan A, B, and C?
I've heard there's Plan A, B, and C. I've heard there's Plan A is, of course, everyone comes back in full and we have new sanitation. Then I've heard maybe a 50% capacity opening. Then I've also heard they're continuing distancing learning. I don't think continuing distance learning is the best thing educational wise for kids.
I'm with it. I agree.
I think heck. There's college students who are talking about how they really didn't feel like they got, out of this semester what they thought they should have gotten out of because of distance learning. Can you imagine middle schoolers? Yeah, middle schoolers, elementary kids, high schoolers just coming into high school. It's a very difficult situation, and I like we've been saying, there's really no right answer. I do just hope that the NCHSA does get creative if there are avenues open. for kids to play.
And it's not just them. But I mean, we talk about all the associations that involve prep sports. It's just it feels like the ultimate decision first is going to come from the NCHSAA, and then the dominoes will fall from there.
Which I think the NCISAA is going to play. Just because of how loose they've been with their rules. The NCHSAA has tried to follow the, I believe, the NFHSAA.
The NFHS?
Yeah, I believe
the National Federation of High School.
Yeah, I believe they've tried to follow those rules to the T, while I think the NCISAA has kind of just left it up.
They are independent, and like all the schools are private. So I mean, it is kind of a difference. I mean, I know there are schools that have done they've done workouts, and like been doing them freely, like nothing's going on, And that's not. I'm not saying that it's offensive.
It's not necessarily a bad thing.
It's not necessarily a bad thing at all. It's just the NCISAA schools have been handling it differently, and really the NCHSA is looking at Governor Cooper like, all right, it's a choice, and your court. The ball's in your court, and whatever you say, I guess we'll do it.
Yeah,
I guess that's how it looks from my vantage point.
Yeah, I think that's how they're proceeding. Whatever Ward Cooper says, and they'll kind of go off of that.
Yeah, whatever the North Carolina government says.
Like I said, I just can't foresee them being any chance of being in class and no sports. I just can't see it. At least,
you know what? Here's what I'll say. I do agree. If they are in class, then I'll be like, okay, have sports.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing, man. We've always said sports is a reward for kids, and how are you going to be able to reward kids if there is no sports? I mean, that's, of course there are little intrinsic awards, doing good and everything like that.
Classroom stuff.
But I just think it's so important that we let these athletes, be able to get a chance to express, their passion that they play with.
I know kids have written letters to Governor Cooper over the last several months saying, please open schools so we can play sports. And I know it's while I don't necessarily agree, I know I've said this on my own personal podcast, but
Sundays with Strikers, everybody go to the Striker Lights page and subscribe and watch the show.
Yeah, absolutely. But like those two that I talked about Samuel Witt from East Surrey and CJ Tillman, I believe his name, from Richmond Senior High. And while I don't necessarily agree with what they said, they handled it really well. And I think it was something very strong that they could take into consideration too. I'm sure a lot of kids feel that way too.
Yeah, you gotta let the kids speak. That's what they want.
I love that the kids are using their platforms too.
Right, exactly. And here's the thing too that we haven't even talked about: parents. Most parents, I think, support it.
Yeah,
when you look at it, especially going into high school sports, when you look at how much money and time parents have invested, as well as their kids have invested, either into just chasing the passion of the sport, or even to chasing, those scholarships, those offers, it's hard for them to disconnect as well. The fact that their kid who has played football for 10 years is not going to get a chance to play their senior year, or the kid who is on the brink of a big senior year won't get a chance to play basketball and get that offer that he needs to go to school. And when you look at it, not just from a high school standpoint, but if there is no sports, how many kids who probably would never be able to afford college without having to go into massive student loan debt will now be without that scholarship that can help them change the path of their life.
Honestly, COVID-19 has kind of exposed so much of the flaws of prep sports too. At least from that aspect, like from a college student who has to go through loans from like those who lack scholarship money and stuff. Like it's just I feel like even though it's been really bad, and it has been really bad, I feel like it's opened up my eyes to a lot of things that I didn't really think about hard enough until now.
Oh yeah, I mean it's been a monumental fail on how we've handled this on many aspects.
An epic face plant.
Yeah, epic faceplant. You know, we're not going to get political at all, but, you know, I do feel like this could have been, you know, handled better and we wouldn't be in this point. You know, when you look at all the other countries who are able to open up and...
Look at New Zealand. Look at that. Yeah. That's your number one example right there.
Yeah. And I mean, it just kind of showed, you know, the society that we're in that doesn't have a care for the next man, so they can't wear a mask because they watched some YouTube video and it told them that masks were the way to test martial law or something like that. Like
they're like taking away your freedom.
Yeah. It's a pandemic. Like, people got to realize, like, it's in a different space than where we were a few months ago. Like,
we aren't trying to get political here. I mean, it's just really frustrating for both of us, and we're as frustrated as every student athlete, parent, sports fan, whatever. We're as frustrated as y'all are. I mean,
we love going to sports events. We love sports. We love covering. We love getting to know the kids. We love getting to know the community. It's just very frustrating right now that the fact that, you know, the rest of the world kind of doesn't really want to just listen and understand, so that way we can go ahead and move past this pandemic, at least to a larger extent, get to a point where it is closer to the flu than it is where we're losing hundreds of thousands of lives, and that's where we're headed to right now. You look at what's going on in Florida, you look at what's going on in Texas, Arizona, like it's nuts, like it's just really frustrating. You would love to see that this had been handled a different way, hadn't been so politicized, and just been a matter of life and safety.
It was pushed to the side, and now look where we're at.
Right,
we're a laughing stock.
Right,
pretty much.
But back to the sports.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
the NJCAA decided to move sports seasons all of them back to January.
No, well, that was just for basketball.
Basketball.
Yeah, they proposed a plan that basketball will be able to start on January 11th of next year, and then the end of January competition would start.
I think that was a great idea. You get the chance to give the athletes hope. That's what we need right now. We need some hope for these athletes, to give them a chance. And I think this would be great for a lot of...
It gives them time, too,
yeah,
like you mentioned earlier.
A lot of those non-qualifiers getting a chance to come in, either their first semester or either their second year, really knock out the academics part, and then be able to go have a good year.
You're going to get at least 20 games.
Yeah. You get a chance to play, get some more film, get to a chance to go to a 4-year university. Like I said, that's the big thing that we're talking about with high school athletics and athletics in general, is the ability that, that somebody's athletic ability can change, the path of their life, where they get a chance to, have a better career. I mean, it's no secret that the more education you get, the better, your quality of life is on average.
I definitely agree with that. I mean, it's significant news, definitely. I know, like, obviously, nothing but positive news would be great right now. Just,
right.
I mean, it's been nothing but punch after punch after punch to the gut.
Right.
And this at least gives, like you said, it gives kids time to get right in the classroom. And, I mean, I love junior college basketball, and I'm looking forward to covering it with you, and I know you're looking forward to covering some JUCO ball this year.
Right.
It's really just, it's just a crazy situation right now, man. I don't know.
Right.
I just sit here, like, thinking about all the great memories we have of fall sports. Like, when we talked about it on our 1-year anniversary show a couple weeks back, like, we just talked about nothing but good times, and it's just... It's crazy how far we've come, and now we're at a crossroads of craziness.
Right. I'm glad that we're going to get a chance to see what happens for Wednesday, and then we can come back and kind of discuss, what's going to happen. Of course, we'll be back, talking about it, giving you our opinion. Of course, you can follow us on social media for our immediate reactions.
I'm sure we'll find a way to have an immediate reaction to that. there's been some things about like could independent sports leagues be forming because of this? And I mean, there's already the Independent Baseball League, which has a lot of kids from our area. Of course, Kinston and Wayne County are part of it. They both got a lot of talent. They both have talented bunches. I mean, Garner as well has got Johnston County kids. So, what do you think of leagues like that forming throughout the entire country if sports aren't able to be played in like athletic association settings for the state?
I don't really care for it. You know, just when I look at from the point of view, there's something special about playing for your high school. You know, there's already plenty of independent leagues, and at just about every sport, there's a lot of club sports.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, to anything else, kind of just feels just like that. Club sports, you know, AAU ball, you know.
I mean, I know there have been AAU tournaments throughout the Southeast.
7-on-7, you know, that's what it kind of feels like. For footballers, it's no chance. Like, there's nobody who's going to be able to start a football league.
Like a 7-on-7 football league?
No,
like
a
football league in general. Like, oh yeah.
Like, you're not going to be able to, nobody's going to be able to really put together the point where you're going to be putting on pads and playing games. Like, you know, there are, you know, when you look at it, semi-pro leagues who can't make a full football season happen. You're talking about trying to organize.
And insurance liabilities and stuff like that.
That stuff is tough. I mean, all of that is tough to put together. Then we look at it anytime you look at somebody trying to start a league. I mean, are you going to get jerseys? Are you going to let, how are you going to get locations if high school gyms are not open or if high school fields are not open? There's not a whole bunch of areas, at least not back our way, that have that type of access. You look at it, there are some places, I mean, I think the Kinston Battleships, they can't play anywhere in North County because of the COVID, you know, because all their fields are shut down, you know, so.
Yeah, I believe they're one of the counties in this area that are not practicing right now for sports.
Right, and when you look at it, you know, there's many more back that way that just cannot afford to figure it out. So also, too, are you going to let all players play or is that only the elite players? You know, what's going to happen for the JV kids who need that development? It's not just, you know, it's easy to say
there's
that.
There's so many things you can think about with this situation. It's a complex question I asked you. I mean,
right. And then when you look at it,
you hadn't even tackled everything. That's just like half of it, pretty much. Not even half.
Like I said, the uniforms and things like that. Like it's different. Like I said, it's just a whole different field playing for your high school versus playing for just a regular club sport, regular AAU team or anything like that. You know, you can, you know, scream culture and all that all you want, but it's just, like I said, it's just different in high school. You talk about coaches are there with their kids probably sometimes. Most schools, you know, the coach works at the school, at least in North Carolina. So you're looking at, you know, they're with their players 8 to 9 hours a day. You know, just that doesn't include.
I know there are coaches out there that feel as bad as the kids.
Right. That doesn't include cutting the fields. That doesn't include upkeep of the gyms.
There's so many little things. Yeah.
You know, washing jerseys. Yeah. That's all of that stuff goes into how, you know, a coach's day goes. They're talking about they probably spend 12 hours a day easily on their players in season. Like, just off of work and everything like that. And I just don't think that you're going to be able to find those type of leagues who are that dedicated. I think, you know, AAU basketball is one thing. You look at, you know, club baseball, you know, travel baseball, whatever. Even those, you know, guys who run 7-on-7 football leagues or those football camps, it's just not going to be the same as putting on your high school uniform and going out there and playing in front of a bunch of fans. Like, can you imagine how different it would be, you know, not being able to put on a Green Central uniform and going to play against Farmville, or not being able to put on, you know, a Goldsboro jersey and go play against, you know, Eastern Wayne or something.
Princeton and Rosewood.
Cleveland, yeah, you lose those rivalries. And you lose what makes high school sports great, which is, you know, area versus area. You You know,
and there are rivalries. Everybody's so excited to be like, yeah, we're going to take you down this year, and like we're going to end the streak, do something that's never been done before. You know,
right?
And there's a lot of that stuff would get taken away with independent leagues.
Right. It just won't be the same. You know, no matter who or what runs it.
It's not a knock on those leagues that are being run. It's just it takes away so much of like what
there's
makes high school sports, like atmospheres, fans, all that. You know,
there's a reason why kids don't leave their high school team to go play travel ball if they're like in the state championship.
They're trying to win a championship.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think there's ever going to be a club championship that can match
being the best team.
The impact of having a state championship banner hung up in your gym and being there forever.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with all that. I still think it's a good conversation to have because I know that
it is. I just don't think in quality that it can be replicated enough.
Plus, now we're living in
to take over what the NCHSA and the NCISAA do. You look at there's other leagues in this state that people know that people don't really care about, like the CASC, the Carolina Athletic Association for Schools of Choice or whatever, and people don't give that as much love because there's no like real state championship necessarily. There is in basketball, of course. Piedmont Classical, they've done a great job. Winning 4 straight with a great group of kids, but it's just different being in the NCISA and the NCHSAA.
It's a tough discussion. I mean, it's just really like when you really think about other associations that are smaller. It's just. There's still that impact of being the first at your school to do something, and like having a dynasty like the one you just mentioned.
Right. That's no disrespect to them. It's just a lot different in the NCISAA and the NCHSAA.
It is what it is. I mean, it's really a lot of things. Like it's so many little things that you talked about in that like maybe like an independent sports league. Like there's so much responsibility too. It's just it takes a lot of a lot of tough choices and a lot of things that people that run the leagues could be held accountable for, and it could end up being egg on the face.
And then also too, I mean, when I look at it for the NCHSA, another argument why they need to play sports is you need to be able to have people who are certified, who are in control versus letting it be an open market for people who are just looking for money grabs or people who are disregarding the health of the kids just to do anything, just to do something. If the NCHSA is playing, then they can figure it out a way for it to be safe versus, just leaving it in the hands of people who are not certified, who are not educators, who are not in a system, who know exactly how to move, and you could open that up for the markets of people who are unscrupulous and make bad decisions, not in the interest for kids.
That is a word right there, unscrupulous. I needed some comic relief on the show. I feel like this has been one of our more serious talks. Cause
it is a serious time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Any laugh counts, I think.
Yeah.
But we still, I know there have been AAU circuits and organizations and stuff.
Hey, shout out my man Eddie Taylor, man. Got a really big dunk out there in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah. I was going to say, I know we definitely do want to...
Josh Short, he was killing out there as well from Farmville Central.
Yeah, Jameer Wright. South Central.
Taquavion Smith made that mark this weekend. Elijah Jameson as well. I got too many ties. The team loaded not to say shout out to Elijah Jameson.
Shout out Coach Dobbins. I was just gonna say it.
Yeah.
Shout out Coach Dobbins.
Yeah.
Hey, he might have something special coming soon.
DJ Freeman went down to Georgia, killed it. Juice All Stars, they had a great weekend.
Shout out to SUV TV too, based out of Georgia.
They did a great job.
They do free live streams of AAU games.
Right.
It's free. That's it.
Right.
Like that. I was watching Juice All Stars all weekend and Team Synergy out of Charlotte too. I mean, I know Coach.
Did a great. SUV TV killed it. They did a great job.
Coach Black and them's team, they went 5-0, right?
Yeah, 5-0.
So yeah, BJ Freeman, Saquon Harris, BJ Keith,
BJ had a great
Kanaya and
birthday
Kenichi
weekend.
Rosu. Yeah, it's a good group of guys. They're gonna have
Garner Rose 16U kind of struggled a little bit, but I know Nation and the guys they'll pull it together for this weekend.
Nation, Avion, Aaron.
Yeah,
they still played. They still played pretty well.
Yeah,
it
they played pretty
it
well.
wasn't like they lost badly. They lost close games.
They just lost close games.
And then they won.
Garner Rose 17U, they showed how nuts they can be.
You got a lot of your favorite student athletes on that squad.
Oh yeah, shout out Will Felton. He's actually transferring to Hargrove Academy.
Hargrave.
Sorry.
But with that last Coach Superhero nickname from in December, man,
it's real.
It's yeah. We got Zona Ron.
Yeah, Arizona Ron. Of course, showing everybody why he's one of the most sought after prospects in the nation.
Yo, but that T. Marie squad was actually like super different. Like when you got
Deontay Green had a great weekend.
Jacoby Wright from a South Carolina commit.
Right.
Elijah Jameson showed out, like you said. I mean, it was great to see. If there was anything, it was great to see kids go out there and play. I mean,
yeah,
I heard the Big Shots event was very well done in terms of safety measures.
Yeah, I think from what I heard from Jamie Shaw, Absolute Basketball, they did a great job of sanitation and cleaning and making sure it was a safe environment for everybody. So shout out Big Shots Nation for doing a great job. Shout out Jay Anderson. We know, of course, he's Big Shots. Kevin Snyder, yeah. Shout out Clark.
Lauren Robinson,
Scott
too,
Clark
Post Up Media.
Right.
They did all the graphics.
Right. Shout out Scott Clark going down there, getting some write-ups for some NC kids.
Man, he was down there.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know he was down. I thought he was just going off the Ball TV streams.
Go on the...
Ball TV,
maybe he was, but I thought he was down there.
I think he might have been off the streams.
He might have been.
He might have... Hey,
it's
still he got some work in, got some content up, and then got to watch ball. I mean, it's if there are ways for
shout out Trey, we got a hoop farm. He coming soon, I'm sure.
He was out with Next Level Prospects, right?
Yeah,
and
I believe they were in Rock Hill though.
Yeah, they were at the event center. Who knows? Maybe you could make a trip out there. Maybe I could. If the mileage and stuff set up for the car, if everything works out, maybe just a little.
Okay.
Okay. But still, like it was good to see kids out there go out and hoop, and we also got to shout out the ladies too. I mean,
of course.
Mama and Maya Joyner and Janiyah Foskey were with Team Curry, and
Curry went down there.
They went out of the War Games. They got that W. Shout out Coach Rivers, the whole squad. They looked the part. It took them a turn.
They Team Curry for a reason.
I mean, well, you got think about it.
They're supposed to go win championships on the road.
Facts. But
I heard that their locker room was still smelling like champagne.
But there's something random. I know this is random, but Mallory Haynes, who plays at Davidson Day, two-time state champion at Davidson Day, plays for Team Curry and is going to Davidson. Is there a little bit of a coincidence there or something?
Hey, no, that wasn't.
Oh, and she's a three-point shooting machine as well. So
yeah,
I just thought of that randomly. I was
Curry went and came down to North Carolina and said, "I'm getting all the best girls."
I'm taking all the lady hoopers. We're gonna win everything.
Yeah,
and they're going back to take over Atlanta next weekend too. So they're gonna do work down there. So shout out to them. I know Mama just received a few more Division I offers.
Hey, she got too many of them.
She
got too many of them. She got a whole
best
pile
player in the 2-5.
Yeah.
No, that's very hard to argue for anyone else. Would you say?
Yeah, I mean we gotta see what Zamaria Jones do when she gets.
Z about to take over.
Federal.
Think about it. She was so big in middle school already, and now she's coming up to the high school ranks, and I cannot wait. I definitely got to pencil that in. I go to Zamaria Jones' first high school game.
Yeah,
just to see her drop 30 on somebody because I know it's what happened.
Yeah, it's different over there, man. is 2-5 got a whole bunch of lady hoopers coming that are crazy.
Yeah, I mean, shout out the Dungeon too. I mean, they usually do runs all the weekends.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but yeah, they got most of the best, like not from the past and present.
Yeah.
Middle school, high school, all the way college, pro. Like they.
Right. I mean, Zamaria, she gets on there with the boys.
Z goes out there and cooks the middle school, high school boys too. So like she goes out there hoops. That's she's gonna be great at the high school level. Can't wait to see her at the high school level. So, but do we have anything else?
I think that's it, brother.
This was kind of impromptu. I mean, I had some things to do. He had some things to do. I know Kai's put out a lot of stuff from a nice run that he went to this past weekend.
Yeah, this past weekend.
I don't know if he's going to put anything.
So we got more coming out on YouTube. Just kind of be looking.
Yep.
Always subscribe. Always be watching. We try to keep content coming daily.
And we have a very special guest coming in this week for our next episode. Yeah, we do. We can't spoil that just yet,
right.
But he's one of the county's finest, I would say.
Yeah, he might be the greatest.
Hey, you never know. He just might be with the success he had.
Hey,
don't spoil it too much.
I was told by the other greatest that he is the greatest. So let's keep it moving.
Let's keep it moving. He said so.
All right. So of course, like I said, stay subscribed to WJG Sports on YouTube. Follow us on like us on Facebook. We're getting close to 500 likes, I believe.
You good? You good? You need to put this on too.
Yeah.
Put on your mask so we can have scores.
Right, of course. Mask up, everybody. Let's go. IG, of course, is WJG Sports. Twitter, WJG_sports. By the way, shout out to Corinth Holders Athletics for having me on their Take a Lap series. Go take a look at that. And then, of course, follow me on Twitter at MMJCotJones. This is what happens when you don't get a drink before the podcast.
Yeah, this man went off the top with no drink. Usually he has 2 liters of water ready.
Yeah.
But I'll finish it for him. You know where to find us on social media. You know where to find him, me. Like he said, check out that Corinth Holders Take a Lap video.
Right.
A lot of really good stuff. And a nice shout out from me too. It was very nice to me. But Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, any podcasting platform you can name. And once again, Sundays with Striker too, every Sunday. So I think we've gotten everything. For myself, Laika Habibi, not Kai Jones. For Kai Jones, not Laika Habibi. This has been the Just Like Brothers Podcast, episode 67. We'll see you again later this week. Peace out.